I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. So you're on the campus right now?
Yeah, I'm in the campus, in my room.
Okay, great, great. So how's the campus?
Yeah, campus is excellent. Like, I've seen the campus lab since March. I haven't left the campus till now. So it
Okay,
feels
okay.
great.
Nice, nice. So how's the Diwali and all going there?
I don't know whether they celebrate Diwali in this campus or not. Given the current condition, I don't even know.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. So let's get started with the questions.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so can you just give me a brief intro about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Ashwin Shriyan, and I got admitted for my undergraduation in Pune University in 2016. I was admitted to automobile engineering in my first year, and in my second year I shifted to computer engineering. And basically, I haven't done any internship or don't have any work experience because I started my GATE preparation from third year itself. So from third year I was preparing for GATE, and whatever development I did was basically which was needed, the final year projects of BTech, and that was done by me using some different courses from Coursera and all. So I compensated my internship and work experience to doing courses from different platforms. So and after my graduation ended in October 2020, and immediately after that, November, our first semester started. So basically, the journey has been pretty quick for me.
Okay, that's great, that's great. So you're admitted in your gate.
No, I got admitted from using from my BITS HD score, not from GATE. I screwed up my GATE exam, so that's the
Okay, okay,
reason.
fine. Okay, nice. So the placement season is done, right?
Yeah, it is almost done. Some of them are still yet to be placed, but almost done.
Okay, that's great. So where have you been placed?
Yeah, I've been placed in Infineon Technologies, Bangalore, for a
Okay, okay,
software engineer role.
okay, that's nice. So, what was the minimum criteria to apply for Infineon?
They haven't had any criteria as of now. They haven't mentioned any CGPA. Basically, they have sent the place link to everyone who have applied for Infineon, and after that, using the shortlisted using the test score. So at the start, there was no eligibility criteria for it, except I think no backlog was the criteria, default criteria for everyone.
Okay, fine. So there was no CGP criteria, right?
No, no CGPA criteria.
Okay, that's great. Okay, fine. So, what were the rounds, like the selection procedure in Infineon?
The first round consisted of like it was a mini gate exam, I can say, because there were seven sections which included a lot of things like all the gate subjects that we had, and along with that they asked Python, Java, C++, and some of dead concepts as well, digital electronic concepts also they were asking. And in Java they also were focusing on multi-threading and stuff like that. So it was a completely MCQ exam. There was no coding questions also. So totally MCQ exam.
Okay, okay. How many questions were there in total?
I don't know. A lot of questions are there. Like seven sections, and in each section, minimum 15 to 12 to 15 questions are there. So a lot of questions
Okay,
in 1.5 hours time only.
okay, okay, fine, fine. And what was the duration of the test?
Duration was around 75 to 80 minutes. I don't remember exactly, but 70 to 80 minutes.
Okay, fine, fine. So the placement was for ME or both ME and B?
Both ME and also it was all campus included. So there were a lot of students. At start, they shortlisted around 120 people. I can guess, 120
Okay.
people they shortlisted. So they conducted round for each all those 120 candidates, and and at the end they shortlisted around 18 people, I suppose. 18 people got selected
For
from the
the
18 round.
interviews. Okay, great, great.
Yeah, and it included all the profiles, not software role. I guess 6 to 7 people were there selected, and same 6 to 7 for hardware, and another profile was systems profile was there. So they
Okay,
basically Infineon came for three profiles: software, systems, and hardware.
okay, fine, fine. So they do have. I think Infineon is basically a hardware company, right?
Yeah, it's a semiconductor based company.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. That's great. So, how many rounds were there after the test, the interview rounds?
After the test, for some people, I asked them that they conducted around 4 rounds. For me, it was only 3 rounds because what they were
Okay,
doing is that if you clear the first round, in the second round they were putting you to no, they were interviewed by you're interviewed by manager. And if you somehow screw up the second round, they were also giving you another chance for different teams. So basically, you are given
Okay.
chance to at least interview for two companies. So I got selected for in my second round itself. The manager shortlisted my profile. So after second round, I was directly shifted to HR round. So I had only three rounds. But for some people, they have taken four rounds as well.
Okay, okay, fine. So can you just brief me about your first interview?
Now, the first interview they started with the normal introduction and some resume based questions, and after that they suddenly they shifted to coding, which was mostly surrounded around bit manipulation. They asked a lot of questions on bit manipulation, and after that they also asked me some coding, and you have to code all the questions, and the code has to run. They were giving you some sort of code editor or something, and also they started after that the linked list. Linked list was their favorite data structure I can support. Linked list and bit manipulation were the two questions they're focusing a lot. And after that, it also depends on your answers. Like they asked me, first question was that which is your favorite programming language? So I answered Java. Suddenly they asked me to write some code on multi-threading in Java. So it depends how you
Okay,
answer your questions as well.
okay, fine, fine. And were there any questions like technical questions like OS from OS people?
Yeah, it was not in the first round, but in the second round they focused a lot on operating system and computer networks, and also some basic questions from SQL are also there.
Okay, fine. So second round, there was no coding.
Yeah, a bit of linked list. I said no. They were asking linked list most of the time. Linked list questions only. Like,
Okay,
and the one question was there like which is more powerful, something like iteration or recursion, which is more powerful. So I answered both are equally powerful. So they suddenly asked to change my code to recursion. So they were kind of everything was based on your answers. So they suddenly asked me
okay,
to change your code from iterative to recursive. So lot depends on your how you answer each and every question. So they were focusing on your answers and making up their own questions.
okay, fine. That's great. And what about the third round?
Third round was HR round. It was a telephonic interview for me because and mostly they were something like not a normal. I thought they were going to ask some conventional questions like where do you see yourself after 5 years, some that sort of questions. But they weren't asking this kind of questions. They asked me how your personality developed from your undergraduation throughout your graduation. What are the key qualities that you have developed, and how you see yourself professionally growing as well as personally as well as spiritually. How is your growth? And what is something that motivates you daily to do your daily tasks? So that sort of questions are there. Apart from normal HR questions, they were kind of good questions, I suppose, because I haven't seen these kind of questions in my previous interview. Because I have given this was the 11th company. I have before that I have given interviews for 10 companies. So in HR round, mostly they weren't asking this kind of questions. Mostly silly questions were there, but
Uh,
Infineon asked sort of good questions.
okay, that's great. 10 companies, that's a long way.
That's a long way.
Okay, fine, fine. So, like, what was the duration of these interviews, the technical interviews?
50 to 55 minutes mostly.
Okay, and
They,
what was the level of the coding questions? Was it easy or
Coding
medium?
questions are fine, mostly because we have practiced a lot on linked list. So basically, I started preparing for specific companies using their GFG archives. So I knew kind of had an idea about that they are focusing on linked list. So I prepared all the questions accordingly. So it was sort of easy for me.
Okay, okay. And did they ask any electronics or hardware related questions?
No, because they have given us some Google form before the interview, before the test also, before even the test, and I've choose the software profile. So they were asking questions based on related to software only. So for hardware guys, they were asking those questions, but for software people, they weren't asking this kind of questions related to hardware and stuff.
Okay, okay, fine. So, how did you prepare for the coding part?
For Infineon or for all companies, you're asking.
In general.
In general, I started preparing from Algo Expert. I watched his videos and what sort of questions he solved because Algo Expert kind of lays your foundation for coding stuff. And then I started practicing on mostly on Algo Expert, GFG and lead code only. And also, for a company specific, I started preparing from Interibit most. So Interibit was something which was my favorite because if you are less amount of time, like sort of 1.5 months, interview bit will be, make your preparation, rigorously pick. So I prefer interview bit more than any other platform. But for foundation and all the stuff, I started preparing from a expert. And specifically for Java, there was some concepts which I wanted to prepare. I prepared those from there, and also Algo Expert. To start my preparation, I started with Algo Expert, and then for some concepts like for Java related concepts, I prepared Pip coding platform.
Okay, okay, fine. So when did you start your preparation?
Just after the second semester, because the second semester was no, I totally focused on my CGPA, because how my first semester I kind of screwed up. So second semester was I was totally focused on CGPA. So as soon as the second semester finished, I started all the coding preparation, and also started my core subjects, preparing for core subjects as well.
Okay, so during the vacation time you were preparing, right?
Yeah. For core subjects, I prepared from my previous GATE notes, and for interviews, there were some specific questions which were kind of repetitive in every interview, and I saw those questions in that Love Abbas cheat sheet. There were a lot,
Okay.
lot of questions were there which were asked from them. So I was completely prepared prepared his cheat sheet, and for operating system as well as for DBMS as well.
Okay, fine. And all the questions were standard questions only, right?
For core subjects, it was standard questions. But if you say that you code in Java, then they will ask you, a lot of questions related to multi-threading, and sometimes they also ask you to code, write a multi-threading program to see the behavior of threads and all. So, and then the last time before Infineon, I also given one interview in semiconductor company, which was Silicon Labs, and they specifically asked me to write some, 2 or 3 types of code depending on thread behavior and multi-threading. So, so if you say Java, you have to prepare for this kind of stuff. They will be definitely asking these kind of questions like threading and all.
Okay, fine, fine. That is good. So, okay, so how did you prepare for the interviews? So, did you take any mock interviews or you just prepared on your own?
Yeah, like we in our friend circle only, we used to give mock interviews to each other, and but it was never an issue, because communication or something was never an issue. I was only focusing on my coding subject, because I thought that will be an issue coming to these product-based companies. And if you are giving a technical interview or something, mostly communication can be fluent. There is no issue in that, unless you are giving some philosophical answers or something. Normally, the normal English is enough. There is no extraordinary communication required. So I never focused a lot on that.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, fine. So, were there any system design kind of questions asked in the interviews?
I remember once I was asked once for a company I was asked a student question, which was I was unable to answer. But apart from that, no other company asked me. I think it was Citrix, or not Citrix. I don't remember the name of the company, but once they asked me a question related to system design, and apart from that, no other company asked system design questions.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. And regarding these technical concepts, this gate level knowledge is enough, right?
Get level, and somewhat depends on your subject. Like in our first semester we had advanced operating system and advanced computer network. So they sometimes they used to ask what kind of subjects you had in your first semester. So depending on
Okay.
that, they sometimes they used to level up the questions, because we have already studied that advanced operating system and computer network. So they definitely, they wanted us to have some extra knowledge apart from the gate knowledge. And yeah, these semiconductor companies will definitely expect you to have some sort of extra knowledge apart from it. But the normal companies won't focus a lot on that apart from coding.
Okay, okay, fine. And regarding the interviews, like, did you do any mock interviews in the like any other platforms?
No, I haven't done any mock interview. So that's why it
Okay.
took me 11 companies to get selected. No, if I had
Now,
done that
usually
earlier, I
this
would have taken.
mock interview helps a lot.
Mock interview helps a lot. You'll definitely recognize your mistakes, and you won't fumble in the interview. Sometimes I used to get stuck on questions, and I used to get, okay, sir, I can't do this question, can't solve this question. So I used to give up, pretty early in my interview. So it creates a bad impression on your interview. So you have to, sort of, give the interview feeling that you're trying hard enough to answer the question instead of just giving up. So that's why it took me a lot of interviews to understand, okay, what sort of mistake I'm doing. So and I believe that they keep some, even if you clear the technical interviews, they have some sort of scores assigned to you, even if you clear the technical round. So in the end, all the scores will be added up, and then I suppose that they used to shortlist candidates based on that. Because most of the time I used to clear my both technical rounds, but after HR round, my name was, I was not able to see my name after the HR round. So I believe they used to have some sort of score, because HR round is not something that you get shortlisted on, or
Huh.
you can get. So
Exactly, that's
I
true.
believe that they have some sort of scoring depending on your technical ability.
Maybe that is true. Okay, so regarding your resume, so were they asking any questions from your resumes, basically from your
Yeah, as
project?
mostly they ask me questions on my project only, and apart from that, because I haven't had any interview experiences or internship, I had put a lot of certifications from my BTech, and during this period also. So they used to ask me some sort of questions on that, because I had some sort of silver badge in any I don't remember the course name, but I had some silver badge in NPTEL course, so which was offered by an IIT. So they sort of used to ask what kind of certification is this, which IIT offered this, and what did you learn in that course. So based on that, they used to ask a lot of questions. But regarding project, they used to go in deep and ask what was your responsibility and what did you do, what are the tasks you perform. So they were specifically searching for those answers, what are the tasks performed by you, instead of a whole project, and what is the project about. They used to more specific about your task only.
Okay, okay, fine. And what was the level of questions they do ask in the interviews regarding your project? Will they go into the implementation details, or they just
No, they
ask you the high level
won't
details?
go. Sometimes high level, but they don't ask you to code or something. They will go in deep, but they won't ask you to code. Just algorithms need to be explained to them. They won't ask you to
Okay,
code those algorithms, but just for knowledge sake, they will ask those algorithms.
okay, fine, fine. That is good. So yeah, I think one last question. So what would be a
Mhm.
suggestion to the users? I mean, who are
Yeah.
preparing for a job in a company like Infineon?
So no, for all the students like who are also our juniors as well. But if you are going for on-campus preparation, on-campus interviews are going to be way easy than off-campus interviews, because I've seen off-campus. Ask my seniors also regarding off-campus interview procedure. It's a lot of difficulties are there going for off-campus. But off-campus, the level of questions is pretty easy. So do prefer on-campus instead of off-campus. And apart from that, don't restrict yourself to any particular profile or company, because if you restrict yourself, you're already missing out on a lot of opportunities. So be open to all companies, and do give mock interviews before going to any actual interview, because I lacked on that. So I can it requires a lot of patience to give 10 or 11 companies, because a lot of friends will be, around you will be getting placed. So you have to have a lot of patience, and you need to focus a lot. So it's better you get placed earlier. So do give mock interviews, and start coding as early as possible, because coding is something that will be asked each and every step of the interview. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, okay, that's great. So I think that's it. So thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all the best for your future. Thank you,
Uh,
thank you, man.
Thank you so much, Vishal. Thank you.